Hey everybody, this is Doreen from Privies and Prims Needlecrafts. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, this is a channel about cross stitch, and now I do a lot of quilting. And this video today, sorry, every time I hit the table it shakes. This video today is going to be a lot of quilts because I just came back from a quilt show and there were I think over 150 quilts. So after I show you a little bit of cross stitch, I'm going to go to the quilt show content, and there will be a long slideshow with music showing you all the quilts. So I'll start out with cross stitch in case you're not interested in the quilts. And I'm not sure if I showed this last time, but I did just finish this. And I'm going to finish it completely, like fully finished. Excuse me, the same way. It is this pattern, and I did this one and gave it to my mom, and I'm going to finish this one the same way I did that one. So if you saw my last video, you saw how I did this one. So I did just like a little hanging pillow with blue rickrack around it, and that is how I'm going to finish this one. So there is the stitching on that one. I really like this one. I just think it's so pretty. But now we're getting ready for summer. But it's okay. I'll have it for next year. So the other cross stitch, I pulled this out. My whip, work in progress. This is called Needleworker's Sampler, and it's by Brenda Gervais with a needle and thread. And I had it finished up to here, and I had this done and this done. But I had not done the house because I didn't want this house. I don't want all that fancy white stuff on it. So I was going to look for a different house that would fit in the same spot. And I never took the time to do that. Well, I felt like stitching on this the other day. So what I did, I'm going to get something to hold behind it. What I did was just did the house without all the fancy white stuff on it. So I've got pretty far. This is not a good way to display it, but there it is. So the house is finished. And then last night I started on this, finished it this morning, and I did these two and the key this morning. And I think these were already done. So it's close to the main body being finished, and then I will have to finish the border, which only part of it is done, as you see. But I like the way that house turned out. And again, this is the way it's supposed to be, kind of like a gingerbread trim with the porch and everything. And I did the same house, it's just where all the white is, I just did red. So I still did, this roof is the same, this roof is the same, the door is the same, windows are the same. The only thing I left out was all that white. I just did it in red, and I believe that's Weeks Dye Works Red Rocks. And I'm not sure if that's a called for color or if I changed it. Those papers are out in the living room. But anyway, so this is almost done, but the border, the only thing I have done on the border is this part right here. And as you can see, the border goes all the way around. So that's what I'll be working on next. And this will be pretty. I just noticed that. It's got the flowers in there. So that's going to be pretty. I know I changed some of the things that were supposed to be kind of pink, and I'm doing them in blue instead of pink. And if you're interested in what colors I'm using, you can send me a message or leave me a comment, actually. Yeah, so this quilt star right here is blue. And on the pattern, it is red right there. So there are some changes in this. And I am stitching this 1/2 on 36 count. Picture this plus sand. And I got that on Bestie Barnes Creations on Etsy. Hello, Lillian. Lillian's a great supporter, and she comes to my retreats, and she has an Etsy shop, so check her out, Bestie Barn Creations. So that is all the cross stitch. Now I'm going to move on to quilting, and hopefully you'll stay with me and look at all these gorgeous quilts. Even if you don't quilt and you're not interested in quilting, there's just some beautiful quilts. So before I get to the quilt show, I want to show you, but I don't think I showed this on the last one. I made this pin cushion, and my friend Lois, she actually showed me, she's not a quilter, but she found this thing of an easy way to do. This is called a pineapple quilt. And she showed me a way to do it. And then it's really easy. And I probably will do a tutorial video because it's, I try to explain it to people unless they see the pictures, like they don't really understand it. But it's really easy to do, super easy. You don't have to worry about points because all the points are getting cut off when you sew it together. And this is Teresa Kogut fabric, by the way. If you want to look it up, it's called Teresa Kogut Bright Stars. This is also Teresa Kogut fabric, and this is how I did the back. So this fabric here is the same as this fabric. Now, I think at my retreat in June, which is only 5 weeks away, I think we're going to do a little make and take of these. So if you're interested and you're going to be at the retreat, leave me a comment and let me know if you're interested in making one. And I can bring the stuffing. And I actually have 3 sewing machines, so I can bring all 3. And so that people that don't have a sewing machine can still make one. And then it's filled with walnut shells and sheep's wool roving. But what I would bring to the retreat would be sawdust. You can also fill a pin cushion with sawdust because the walnut shells are kind of pricey, unless you want to bring your own filling. And then I have a lot of fiber fill that I could let people use. So you would bring your own fabrics. You need at least 2 different fabrics. This one has 4 different ones. But I made another one with Kim Deal fabric, and this one just uses 2 different fabrics. Do you see? So you get something cute for the middle because you start with that square and then you build out from that. And this is how I did the back of this one. And if you're interested in this fabric, it's by Kim Deal, which is D-I-E-H-L, and it's called Pennyberry Farm. Now, I'll show you the beginning of how you make one. This one I did as an example to show someone, but and it's kind of big, so it's going to end up being a backing. But this is the fabrics that I used. So I didn't do something cute in the middle. You do want yours to be a square, and I'll show you how I learned that. But you want to take 2 squares and sew them together. I did mine an 1/8 inch, but you could do a 1/4 inch around. Then the one, so let's say this is your main fabric, like the fabric with the cowl on it. You don't cut this, but the other fabric, you draw an X and you cut that. And then all you do is iron these back, and you have a new square that's bigger. So your next piece of fabric will be this size, and you do the same thing. You sew it together, and then you draw, not on this one because it's already cut, but the new piece, you would draw the X on it and cut it just like that, and then fold that piece out, and that would actually fill in these areas, and then it just gets bigger and bigger. So you can make it as big as you want. You can make quilt blocks with it. You can make, little pin cushions. Like this one is smaller than this one. So it's all totally up to you. And a lot of it has to do with the size square that you start with. Now, I tried to make one with a rectangle, and it didn't work. This is also from the same Teresa Kogut fabric, and I wanted to use that flag, so I tried to make it with the rectangle. And as you can see, there's very little fabric that was left that didn't get cut off because it came out kind of like a diamond, like a sideways diamond shape, and it was really awkward, and a lot of the fabric just got cut off and just wasted. So if you like it like this, that's up to you, but I would suggest trying to do it with a square. So if I wanted to do it with this in the middle, I would probably just cut around it and include other parts of the fabric that to make it a square. So let me show you what the fabric looks like. This is the actual fabric. So there's a lot of different designs in there. And again, it's called Teresa Kogut Bright Stars. And you can find it doing a Google search. So if you want to do something like, this is the one that I tried to do rectangle right here. So you would have to go out and cut a square around it to make it work right so that it would come out like this. But it's really, really easy. And then you just sew the backing on. Now, I did one, and I think I showed that on my last video because it was just for the swap. And for the backing, I just used, oh, this is the back of my little one. I don't know if I showed you that one. So for the backing of that one, I made a 4-square with the fabrics that were in it and then used that. And when I stuff mine, I cut it in the middle. I don't do it on the seam. It's just easier because you're using walnut shells and sawdust, and some of these have sawdust in them. I think this one has a mix. But I find it easier, and then I just whip stitch it close. I whip stitch a piece of wool on it, and then I put my sticker on there. Now, the reason this one's off center is because somebody said I was anal. That would be my friend. So this was not centered because I just made it long enough to cover where I cut the opening. And because that was off center, it bothered me. So I put this off center so it would look kind of artistic instead of like a mistake. So yeah, I worry too much about perfectionism. But anyway, super easy. If you're interested, if you're coming to the retreat and you want to do this as like kind of a make and take, you would just bring your fabric and we'll provide everything else. So let me know in the comments if you want to do that. So then today, or actually Thursday, I just joined a quilt guild in Gray, Tennessee. It's near Johnson City, between Johnson City and Bristol. And it's called Appalachian Heritage Quilters. And they had a quilt show this weekend, and I wasn't going to enter anything, but they said they didn't have anything for the miniature category. I think there's like 10 different categories. So they didn't have anything in the miniatures. And I said, well, mine are, I'm a beginner and they have mistakes. And they said, it doesn't matter. It's people's choice. It's not like judges judging them. So they wanted the quilts anyway. So it ended up, I did win second and third prize, which I'm so excited. I'm going to insert a picture here of my quilts with the ribbons. And in, I guess you would say, transparency, there were 11 quilts in the miniature category, and 8 of them were mine. So the odds were pretty good that I was going to get a ribbon, and I ended up getting 2. So I will put pictures in the slideshow of the section where the miniatures were, and you'll probably be able to pick mine out because they're all like primitive colors. But so this one won second place. And the one that won first place was not mine, and it had a lot of embroidery embellishment on it, and it was little chicks, and it was super cute. It was another guild. These are all guild member quilts, but this is a Kim Deal pattern called Out of the Box. And it, I think, was my 3rd quilt that I made. And so that's pretty exciting that got second place. And there's the name of the guild right there. And then this one, which is my favorite, got 3rd place. And this is a Kathleen Tracy quilt from her schoolgirl sampler booklet. And so that got 3rd place. So I'm pretty proud. And even though I didn't have much competition, it's still fun to see like which one people like the best. So thank you for watching. Please make sure you hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you to those that subscribed last time. We got away from that bad number and we got up to the 6,700 mark. So thank you so much for that. And again, if you haven't subscribed, it's totally free. All you have to do is sign into your YouTube and click that subscribe button. So I will see you on the next video. Today's Saturday. I'm leaving Monday to go to Georgia to work on my camper. Not sure when I'm going to be back, but I'm hoping to be back next weekend because it's our second Saturday Stitchers group, the second anniversary of it in Waynesville, North Carolina. So I'm hoping to be back to join in on that celebration. And I will see you on my next video. Don't forget to comment and give it a thumbs up.